This was sometime overnight of the 10th of May and into the wee hours of the 11th of May. I was restreaming Official Misconduct's live stream on using CPS, and I lost my internet. And when I came back, this is where we were at.
To share information that I have researched for several years and that I've also been, subjected to in my personal life. And I can tell you from firsthand experience that whenever you start getting a multitude of false calls, it not only affects the person that you're making the calls on, but it affects the children. And it's a huge thing. Whenever you make a call to DCS, it's not ever to be taken lightly and it's not ever to be retaliatory. And that was my whole basis of this.
And no one's arguing that.
I
Yeah,
know. I just wanted to reiterate that.
in in this particular situation, Kaiser didn't give a fuck about the kid. Like he just hated the fucking dad so much that
Correct.
he used it as yeah, and it was actually really sad. Like it was fucked up. Like
But what you've got to understand is this is his bread and butter, right? So while Chris and Tiffany are still fighting court and probably earning more charges, I don't, God knows why, but while we're doing this, he's earning money. As soon as Chris and Tiffany do their court cases and get it all done and dusted, who's he got?
That's what I'd like to know. I don't know
He's got
whose back he's going to be riding on then.
he's got nobody.
yeah,
By then,
look at Scotto's comment because Scotto was around that. Like Kaiser would fucking make jokes about her being a stripper and her future and all this shit. It's just fucked up.
Wow.
Is that true, Scotto? Kaiser would constantly joke about a 5-year-old kid being on a stripper pole and having an OnlyFans page?
yep.
Holy shit.
What's this man's obsession with OnlyFans? And now I'm questioning what his obsession is with children.
I don't know. Sorry, I've been very distracted with internet problems, and I'm also on the clock for my job. Uh,
I can relate. Well, not being on clock, but the internet.
yes, Kaiser is disgusting. Yes, even let me see. Even when other women would tell him to stop, he would continue. That doesn't surprise. Well, it surprises me and doesn't surprise me. He seems like he's reinvented himself from before. I became aware of him around October, November, and since then. But he's an asshole on both sides.
Agreed.
Yeah, Shiz called him out on the live for like for pulling that shit with the kid, and Kaiser was like speechless. He couldn't believe he just got like he was like, oh shit, like she fucking schooled him on that shit.
Yeah.
And
Good.
that's still around that clip.
Now the this other fellow that everyone's talking about streaming his kid and offering $300 for a 5-minute phone conversation, joking or serious, that's pretty sick. But I guess Tiffany wasn't aware of it. I wasn't aware of it until I just heard that. But I still haven't seen the video where he did that.
Right.
I'm not taking a side. I just
Exactly.
uh,
I like to have all of the details before I try to make an
It,
opinion of anything because,
it's
like
in
I
that live.
said,
It's in the live stream we were watching, but it was in a community post, so it wasn't like a video.
oh,
It was a community post saying, "Hey, if you spend $300 on the membership, you get all these perks," and then that was one of the perks.
wow.
But
wow.
it's in that video.
That is pretty sick, and that I think that would be a good reason to engage CPS. But in my personal experience, I've seen CPS used appropriately, and I've seen it used as a,
Yes.
especially in military housing. And I think we've got a couple of vets here could probably attest to that. These military housing wars, they get pretty fucking disgusting with that kind of shit.
See,
Basically, in our Army, what was it? Army Community Services was once the CPS equivalent was engaged. The soldier and his family are pretty much guilty until proven innocent.
Oh, wow.
And so people quickly learn to use that as a weapon. Oh, I didn't like what my neighbor did, so I'm going to call bullshit CPS. What was it called? Army Community ACS called. It was like CPS. And if you were stateside, it would transfer over to CPS.
See,
Yeah,
that's
I
a
don't.
lot of like what happens a lot of times is DCS, they'll show up and, they'll leave. They'll unsubstantiate it if they don't see anything threatening in the moment. And once they get in enough calls on a person, then it becomes questionable to that agency and then they act on it. And they don't follow the appropriate steps to report false reporting.
Right.
I know that a lot of you have probably seen our video where I had to go in and hammer down on them because I was so tired of the false reports coming in and I was demanding them to do something. And a lot of people give me flack because I was volatile with them. I was very aggressive, but I've been trying to get them to handle the situation since 2018 and we went in there last year, 2023. So I've given them ample enough opportunity to report it as they are required to do, not only by state law, but by their policies also.
Yeah. Excuse me, I got a mouthful. It is a double-edged sword
Yes.
because if people start getting in trouble for false reports, they're less likely to report even if they're suspicious.
Well, did you know that a lot of states, well, not a lot, I've seen a handful of states that are removing the ability for reporters to remain anonymous. They are requiring that they give some sort of identification. That way, it lessens the amount of false reports that they have coming into that agency. And I applaud those states that are doing that because DCS does have the ability and they absolutely stand behind their ability to protect a person's identity if they're a report source. But I think that it's also important that we don't let people anonymously report something that they see to be a crime because ultimately child abuse and neglect is a report source.
They're less likely to report even if they're
I'm doing a series of under 10-minute snips from previous streams for the Keep Stream Alive playlist, so that when we're not live streaming, we have stuff to play for the audiences. Going to move on to the next one now.